the studio is actually here, real life Steve.
Steve Murphy, the Sustainability Coordinator at FXU, which is the Falmouth and Exeter University Campus Union, I believe. Is that right, Steve?
That's correct. Thanks for having me in today, guys.
No worries. So tell us about your relatively new role at the college.
Yeah, well, the project that I'm working on is called the Green Living Project, and it's funded by the National Union of Students through their Green Fund. And we're one of 25 projects that are happening around the country based on sustainability. And what it is it's a real chance for the Students' Union, the university, and the students to really embed an ethos of sustainability into their daily lives and their operations.
How are you getting on with that then?
Yeah, it's going quite well.
Are they a tough crowd to quack?
Strangely enough, not at all, really. Like, I think we're quite lucky with the group of students that we got.
So you haven't had to have like little secret speakers blasting out be green in the background?
Yeah, of course we do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's just obvious. You know, it's
Got
the first rule of being green.
Subliminal,
Subversion. Yeah, that's the best start. I think because a lot of the Exeter students we've got are very environmentally minded already. So you're looking at sort of zoology, conservation, ecology, environmental science, those kind of subjects. So I think there is a level of awareness there already. And I suppose, I mean, if you're coming out to Cornwall, you're here because you really love the environment, you love getting outdoors, you like nature. So
So what kind
it
of things
gives us a head start.
So what kind of things have you? What kind of things do you implement in there? Just for sustainability.
Like little project specific things.
Yeah, what are the things that go on?
At the moment, I mean, there's two themes of the project, energy and waste. Those are the two main ones that we're focusing on. And then we've got a lot of sort of side shoots that are going on outside that, because obviously we try to take a holistic approach and not just look at individual items, but look at how they all fit together as a whole.
Yeah.
But the main themes, I'll start with energy and looking at how students are using energy in private residences, because a lot of these guys and girls are coming out of home for the first time. They're living in places where they don't really understand, bills.
Yeah.
What are these things? They come every couple of months and
Yeah.
seem to be ridiculously high, especially in the
This
quality
part
of
of
a
the
lot of
world as well.
the students' accommodation. Yeah, so we've got our Team Cozy, which is our group of trained energy assessors who can come out and visit students in their homes and tell them how to reduce their energy bills, stay warm and dry, which is
cozy.
quite cozy. Okay, exactly.
Yeah. I get it. I can see that.
And then we've got a similar team that's working in halls, just giving the same kind of advice to students.
Is it harder with the halls of residence students because their bills are included? I remember from when I was up, I never stayed in halls, but I went to the union, knew people there, and it was there seemed to be a sort of Eden Project culture going on where everyone would turn their heating up full blast and then just have the window open.
Really?
So people sort of lived in steam
Is that
rooms.
the Eden Project effect then?
Yeah, that's the Eden Project. Everyone lived in sort of tropical biome environments.
And then open up the windows. It is a much more challenging environment. I think a lot of the infrastructure that they've put in place is really good. I think there's been an idea that they need to take climate change, energy use, and that kind of thing quite seriously at the university.
That's built into the plan.
A lot of it is built into the plan, but what it does is it takes away the control from the students.
Okay.
And I kind of feel that so you get light sensors, so you walk into the room and it turns on, but then you never learn to turn the switch off.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is go in there and develop a real understanding of energy. And I mean, it allows us to talk to them about some of the wider issues to do with that as well. Who's your energy supplier? Where does it come from?
Is it ethical or not?
Yeah, is it ethical? Is it sustainable? Is it renewable?
That's really interesting because there's a lot of. I mean, I even have it myself where you don't. That's the kind of stuff you just never get taught. Like all these fundamental things you're gonna have to do your whole life, and no one ever actually addresses those things.
That PSHE course in school was all for.
Really?
But they just never really
Should
told
be
us
called
that.
LIFE course, really.
What's that? Yeah, life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's silly, guys, but come on,
L-I-F-E.
I was like, LIFE, this.
Yeah. And you learn how to have a career, but you don't really learn how to do all these basic things. And
Yeah.
We didn't even learn how to spell.
So where's the waste? What's the waste aspect of it?
The waste is split into two parts as well. And I mean, I come from a sort of growing in a food background, so you know, I get quite excited about this. We're looking at a food waste collection because that's one of the things that I really hate the most. It's the easiest thing to deal with, the easiest thing to sort out is food waste because it all goes into the bin.
Yeah.
You know, gets sent off to landfill and then starts rotting in landfill, releasing methane, which is a very, very powerful greenhouse gas. Yeah, it's 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide.
Wow.
And it's so easy because in order to prevent that, all you have to do is just stick it you just put it on the ground.
Just make a pile.
Yeah, make a pile of it. I know. It seems the easiest thing to do. So what we're doing is around in the halls, we're doing a pilot scheme with starting with 20 and then working our way up to 50 kitchens who are going to be collecting their food waste and then composting that.
Cool.
And in
Where's it
conjunction
going to get
with
used?
that, well, I was just getting to that.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
We've restarted the Homegrown Society. So we're starting a set of allotments, and there is a plan to expand it out and start trying to supply some food that's actually grown on campus to
a canteen,
to the cafes and canteens and that kind of
Cool.
thing. Yeah. I mean, that's for the long-term aim. We have to kind of.
Someone said there's an orchard. Is that right?
Yeah, there's an orchard. Yeah.
Really?
We're hoping to make some cider this year.
No
Good,
way.
Yeah, because we've got a homebrew society as well, which you know fits into the same kind of you know environmental ethos.
Yeah.
Because if you bring your own beer, then there's a lot less waste, there's a lot less transport. There's you know so many benefits, and you get to really appreciate your beer instead of just buying. You know.
Yeah, especially if it's coming out of like a big vat or something, then there's all that packaging saved and
and it doesn't have to be transported anywhere. And it's something that you've made yourself, which is quite important. We receive so much all the time. We just you go to a shop and you get it, so you get a place and you get it.
Yeah.
Whereas to actually make something yourself is quite a satisfying.
It's got more value.
Process. Yeah, it does.
It gives you a bit of pride, and a bit of satisfaction that you are a useful human being. Because I think even part of the university, I don't know, you know, everyone in England's now doing these degrees, and I think it very much feeds into like a specialised skill society where people can only do one thing and everything else they have to consume and buy.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice to like encourage anything that's kind of making people do a bit more for themselves.
Yeah, because I mean we become completely reliant on a very complicated global system, but it's actually quite fragile in a lot of ways. So if we don't know how to produce our own food, we don't know how to make beer, we don't know how to do so many things that are essential to our basic lives.
Then what happens when the biggest waves in the world strike over the beach of
you heard about
Bays and smash the university apart? We need to make cider.
Yeah. Do you remember
You're probably going to want to drink, aren't you?
Yeah.
When the apocalypse comes, you're going to want to be drunk.
Yeah.
But have you seen that today the Cornwall's going to have bigger waves? There's going to be bigger waves in Cornwall than there are anywhere else in the world today. That's that's the statistic.
Whilst we've got Steve in, we should be asking how can we harness this power to make energy to fuel our computer addicts?
Well, I mean, one of the first things I say is we need to get off our computers, like digital detox. I think it's one of the things you can recommend the most. But we are going to need a certain amount of energy to power our economies once we've reduced that demand right down.
Yeah, the radio station very much falls apart once you unplug everything.
Yeah.
Does it?
We need to stick a windmill on top of this thing.
Yeah, there we go. Get some panels on the top of it.
Completely.
If we ever see the sun again.
I think we're doing our bit though. But the studio is painted white, which obviously reflects some heat back. I think.
I reckon these foam things keep in heat as well.
Yeah. Our sound foam.
There's quite a lot of hot air being talked around.
Yeah, so much. It's getting pretty steamy in here.
We could power a couple of these computers off there.
Yeah, we don't need that.
But just on the point that you were making about the waves, and it is possible to generate energy from waves. What we're not seeing at the moment is investment. There's no political will. There's no big money. Like if you look at the scale of investment in extreme extraction, things like fracking, drilling in the Arctic, tar sands.
I don't know how they willing to spend so much on those things, and because I've heard that they're something like, especially nuclear is one of the most expensive forms of energy out there. So why is there investment there and not in that department?
Vested interests is what they do. They have a responsibility to their shareholders to maximise profits, and the best way that they can do that is by fossil fuels. because we're hooked on it. We're addicted.
Yeah.
What is the choice basically that we've got at the moment? You can't. They keep feeding it to us, and we keep consuming it.
So it's easy to sort of blame the powers that be, but I mean, to a certain extent, we kind of need to pick up our act as well, I guess, and use less energy so that they don't need to make so much.
Yeah. I think we're disempowered from our energy in a lot of ways.
So we're kind of like the students that don't have a switch to turn off. Except we do have switches to turn off, and we should.
Yeah, exactly. You should.
We feel like
that's such a weird thing about that switch thing. I'd never thought about it like that. That those automatic switches sort of don't teach you not to turn stuff off.
But as a grand society, we don't really have a choice to turn the switch off. Like, we're kind of told that a normal lifestyle involves having like your computer on all day, checking Facebook 5 times a day, watching TV as soon as you get home, until
checking Twitter
at night.
Chussels.
Yeah, at Chussels, at Trollogus Tramp.
We just got our own Twitter accounts like 3 days ago. Loving life on it.
Yeah, okay, hopefully.
Do you have to have a Twitter? Have you got Twitter?
Yeah, social media is part of
it's part of your thing.
The job description. Yeah, it's it's the way we're communicating with the students. I mean, I much prefer the face to face though. I just like getting out and talking to people.
Yeah.
I think you have much more effect than updates on Facebook.
Yeah,
that's why we like.
It's a very shallow engagement, isn't it?
I think that's why we like the radio, because it's a chance for people just to switch off their eyes and just kind of listening to people talking about their lives or their views, and it's a bit more personal maybe than things like TV and film and Facebook and Twitter. You're
mobile as well whilst you're listening, aren't you? You're active and great while you're gardening, so you can still listen to the radio and still be engaged and really appreciate what you're doing. Whereas TV, you sit down, you're consumed. You're not. You can talk to other people whilst the radio's on as well. Obviously there's music.
Hold on. You better not be talking to your friends if you're listening now. You should be listening intently.
We're hoping they're stimulating, vibrant debate and discussion amongst themselves at.
Where are we now?
22 minutes past 8.
So what can people do if they want to get involved with your thing, with your various projects? How does that work?
There's a few obvious choices of Facebook and website. The FXU website, and then we've got the Facebook FXU Green Living Project. Otherwise, if they're on campus, just pop into our office. We're in the FXU building in the activities office. We'll be there for some of the time. Otherwise, hanging around in the stannery, or actually next week. Like this.
Yeah.
We're putting up a yurt in the library.
Really?
We're setting up a tea shop.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's going to be it's called the Cozy Cafe, and it's going to be the central place where we're going to be talking to people.
Yeah, it kind of is like a tea cozy, isn't it?
Yeah,
tea cozy.
It's like
I like that name.
I'll tell you what, we'll put a big pom pom on the top. How's that? I like that.
Amazing.
Yeah, cool. We're with that.
So how? So is that going to be like a permanent fixture? Is that going to be?
No, it's not. It's only going to be up for Monday afternoon and Tuesday. Into Tuesday night, we have to take it down on Wednesday. But that's going to be a central point for people to come and talk to us about the campaign and get involved. There's also an allotment day. We're kind of hoping the weather's going to improve at some point. But we're doing a day working on the allotments and building the compost bins and getting.
So are the allotments up at Tremo?
Yeah, they're up at the Penryn campus.
You need to get a seed swap going on before the season starts, the growing season.
Yeah.
I've got some seeds to share. So.
Do you want to bring them along?
Yeah, I'll bring them along.
Yeah,
no worries.
Maybe we'll organise one of those.
So is it open to non-students, or is it just students, or how does it work in that?
I mean, it's the project itself is really specific around students. If you were on campus and you wanted to come in and have a cup of tea in the yurt and learn about environmental, sustainability, then pop in. We're not checking your cards on the door.
You have to scan in.
Yeah, and there's free tea and cake.
Really?
Nice.
Okay, so worth getting up there.
Let's finish there.
Oh, and then we're going to be at the Falmouth campus on Friday. We had a very successful event that we did the other day with just a farm stall, and we're trying to just get people to understand the importance of local organic food, and how really vital it is that we start supporting our local farmers. So we set up a farm stall, we invented a currency, so we give people money and then they spend it at the farm stall.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so you get away with enough sort of food to
You made your own little transition town up there.
Yes, that's what we're trying for.
So
yeah, I mean it's nice to bring in these kind of elements, because we need to think about money and how we interact with it, and how it's valued, because it has a very specific value that isn't, say, important for some things like, plastic is, plastic bottles and single-use disposables are really cheap and throwaway, but essentially they're very damaging. So there should be a value in there.
Yeah. We're going to do a whole lot more on economics, new economics, sustainable economics. Sorry, I should be saying, I'm not American. I've been Americanized. And so we'll follow the currency story further in future episodes. So listen in. So you should listen in.
We'll do. I'll keep you